Alright, today it's not Christmas, but I was putting up all my Browning amps, and I'm like, oh, you got enough to do a quick Christmas tree, even though it ain't Christmas. Actually, it's early February right now, not too long after Christmas. This is just my Browning Christmas tree, my Browning business band, Browning amplifier Christmas tree before I put them away, and put some in the closet and maybe put some in operation and make me some trains out of some. So we got some Browning trains coming up, but until we get this squared away, all of these work and do what they're supposed to do. Some in great shape, some in fair shape, and some of them maybe the cover's a little rough, but the internals are pretty good. But anyway, this is my Browning Christmas tree, and we just gonna start at the bottom. All of these are for business band amplifiers. Don't know very little information on this one. It's Mako 500. Some say this is, what Browning, Mako made for Browning. That actually Mako made this amp. And the color, that's the original color, that Browning brown, which matches the other Brownings, as you can see. And also, this Mako amp is not built like a Mako. It's built like these other 180 amps. It's just this Mako 500 is a 4-tuber, and all the rest of these Browning business amplifiers are 2-tubers. It uses two. The Mako uses 4 small Baldies, they call them. They call them Baldies because they don't have the plate top on their head. They just a regular glass head, and the nickname is Baldies for them. Sometimes people use that as they don't have nothing on top of it. And they're small 6JT6, 6KV6 family of I believe 9-pin tubes, if my memory's right. And all these amplifiers use the same tube. And again, the Mako 500 built to match the Brownings. Very, very, very rare amplifier. I found this one. Has 4 tubes, 4 of those tubes in it, and the rest have 2 of them. And then there's the Browning Mark 180, or let me get tongue-tied, Browning 180 Mark III. Business radio telephone. They were all sold as part of business band. But back then, during that era, the business band was, I think, like in between channel 8 or 9 or something like that, were the business channels, those in-between channels. So they were marketed and sold for the business band. And of course, if they'll work on a CB in-between channel, and somebody wanted to use them for the 11-meter band, they already are aligned and would work for that. All made for like 3-watt, 3.5-watt or less drive, which is what radios did back then. And the 180 Mark III matched the Mark III radios. Again, all had the 2 small tubes, the 2 Baldies, and another 180 Mark III there. And then this one was just called the 180, and it matched the Mark II radios. And other than cosmetics, as you can see there, they just changed the knobs and the colors around, and that's all they did. The only difference between the one that's called the 180 and the 180 Mark III is the colors and the knobs and the paint scheme, basically. Other than that, it's the exact same amp. But going back to the earlier one, the first one that I know of, and I'm no historian, but I read a lot, was the Browning Mark 100, which matched the Mark I radios. You can see the knobs are different, black. And these are original knobs. The 180 one that matches to Mark I has the brown knobs, Well, actually, that's Mark II with the brown knobs. And then the Mark I or the R27 S23, they had the black knobs. So the older Mark 100 had the black knobs to match the knobs, the radios from the ear. And then the Mark II, they went with the brown knobs. And then the Mark III radios, they went with the gold tone knobs. The Mako 500, the knobs don't match any of that, but you know, kind of got the gold trim in there and the same paint job. And then with the Mark 100s here, it's basically the same amp internally, except the light bulbs are different. You can see they had the big, you know, giant light bulbs there, which I think are kind of ugly, but you know, it was an older era back then. And then it's got the switches, the push button switches for power and standby, where the newer Brownies got, you know, one rotary switch for you know, off, on, and standby. So they changed the switches around for the Mark 100s, and the case is a little bit different, you know, for them. And the only other difference I saw with the Mark 100s was it did not have a input tuning or trimmer capacitor. It's just, you know, straight into the tubes on it. No input tuning, no adjustment for the input SWR, where the later ones here all had input tuning capacitors. And then last on top of the Browning Christmas tree is the 170. And what that is a DC version only of the 180 that matches the Mark II radios. You know, one knob, and it's got the tune and the load, but they're screwdriver tune and load. I figure, you know, if you had this in the Mobile, you would set it once and forget about it. You wouldn't be knob dickering all the time. And you know, other than the knobs, as you can see, it matches the or the tune and load, you know, trimmers. It matches the Browning 180. And it's got a DC transformer and them switching transistors in the back that buzz when you key it down. That's how it, those are called choppers, and they chop up the DC, because this is, again, is a DC amplifier, and they just, you know, chop it up so it's going back and forth with DC, and they turn it into fast AC with the back and forth. And then they send that fast AC into a transformer. And since it's a lot faster than a 60 hertz AC transformer, you don't need as much capacitance in it. So it's a smaller transformer and smaller power supply capacitors. And other than those changes, it's the same amp as the rest, the same two small Baldie tubes. So anyway, that's going to be it of this Browning Christmas tree till I put them away and make me a few trains and do what I'm going to do with them. All right, that's it for this one. Bye.